Since we're on the subject of depression, I figured I'd probably tell my little part of my struggle with it. I don't know if I've ever made a video about this before. I really don't remember if I have or not. I know I used to talk about this stuff back in the day, but I don't know if I actually really got to the nitty gritty of what I literally went through and what it took to pull me out of it. And it's not really something I really like to talk about it, because I'm not the one that likes to talk about vulnerability and weakness and all this stuff. And it took me a long time to realize that everybody has it. Everybody's weak. Everybody has their breaking points. But I wasn't the one to ever be forthcoming about that stuff or talk about it, because that was not me. And even to this day, it's still not. I struggle with talking about it, because I don't want to think I was ever at that lowest point in my life that I could ever be that kind of person or experience those things or think that way or get to a point in my life where I felt like I was nothing and had nothing. But I got there. I was going through some multiple things all at once. Multiple. A lot of things from coming different directions and stuff that I won't go into extreme detail about, but a lot of things were coming at all directions. And it made me literally get to a point where I absolutely thought there was nothing left. I thought there was nothing left for me. My life was over. Everything I knew was over. I hated myself for stuff that had been done to me and stuff I had done to others and stuff I had been privy to and didn't make the right decisions over, and guilt and shame and worthlessness and you name it. I had pretty much everything all at the same time, because the situation I was going through called for a lot of different avenues coming all at me at once. And I struggled for a very long time with it, and I did not know how to fix it, and I just let those intrusive thoughts in my head, and I let everything just take over, and I felt so awful about myself. I freaking hated myself. I hated myself for so long, and I couldn't get past that guilt and shame and hatred for myself, for what I had done, for what had been done to me, for what my family had endured, for what I allowed to happen, for what I didn't allow to happen. All these things just kept flooding and flooding and flooding and flooding and flooding through my head, and it absolutely freaking destroyed me mentally. Like I was nothing. I couldn't even recognize myself. I could not recognize myself. I was a broken shell of the person I used to be. I used to be this bright, vibrant, fun, carefree, awesome, badass, and like nothing ever bothered me. And I went through life just conquering, and everything was honky-dory. And I lived a life where I didn't ever stop to think my actions, how they affected other people, and how other people's actions were affecting me. I never stopped. I just let it go. I just kept on living, because you get so busy with life and everything, there's no time to self-reflect. There's no time to worry about all this stuff, because you got to work, you got to take care of kids, you got to do all this stuff. There's no time to think about all that stuff. You just go. So I never let stuff actually freaking in. I never thought and took time to reflect on what was going on around me and what I was doing as well. Anyways, I got to that point in my life where things started happening and a lot of shit happened at once. And I got to a point where I was absolutely broke. I absolutely broke. Like there is no Crystal anymore. Crystal was gone. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know how to function. I quit eating. I probably didn't put damn near anything in my mouth for probably a year. I don't know how I survived. Don't ask me how. Don't ask me how I survived it. But for almost a damn year, I didn't eat. I lost 160 pounds in less than a year, which that was a good thing. I ain't gonna lie, that was a good thing, because I was a big old girl. That was the good part of this, but how it happened was not good. Why it happened was not good, because I was a big girl. But anyways, that was probably the only plus to this whole situation. I lost a shit ton of weight. My face changed. My features changed. I lost all my hair. Everything of my physicality changed. The way my face looked changed. Everything in me changed. My eyes got sunken in. I drink like there's no freaking tomorrow. I mean, drink like there's no freaking tomorrow. I smoke like there's no tomorrow. I found every freaking outlet I could to try to freaking fix myself, but there was never any outlet. There was nothing. There was nothing that was fixing me. And I got to a point, and I will never forget this night. I will never forget it. I got to a point where I was so low in my life. I was sitting there in bed, and I was like, I could not see past anything. I didn't want to see my kids. I wasn't seeing my life. I wasn't seeing my business. I wasn't seeing me. I wasn't seeing anybody I loved or any cared about. I sat there in that bed, and I literally sat there, and I was done. I was freaking done. I was so done. I wanted out of this world more than anything in this life. I wanted out. I wanted out. I did not want to go on anymore. I could not take the pain anymore. I couldn't take it anymore. And the pain was so much, and the hurt was so much, and the thoughts were so much. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it anymore. I was like, I'm freaking done, God. I'm so freaking done. I'm so done. And I swear I probably cussed more to God that night than I ever had in my entire life. I was cussing him out, and I was yelling at him and mad at me and mad at him. And I wasn't mad at him. I was mad at myself. But I was cussing at him and yelling at him, and I was like, God, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. And I swear that is not more than, and I've been through a lot of shit in my life. I've been through a lot of shit. But that night was worse than anything I've ever been through. And I said, God, I can't do this anymore. Take it. I can't do this. I cannot do this, God. I cannot do this anymore. I cannot fucking do this anymore. And I was telling him the same thing I'm saying now. I was cussing like a freaking sailor to God. I was like, I can't do this. I can't. I'm done. I'm so done. I take me now. I can't do this. I'm done. I'm either you do it or I'm going to do it, because I'm freaking done with life. And I called my brother that night, and I talked to him for a long time, and I talked to him, and I talked to him. I told him things aren't good. Things aren't good. Things aren't good. I can't do this. I can't do life anymore. I can't do this anymore. And I talked to him a long time, and I hung up with him, and I literally sit there that night, and I talked to God probably 3 hours. I yelled, I cussed, I screamed, I admitted, I repented, I did everything I possibly could. I admitted all my shit, everything I've done, everything I was thinking of. Not that he don't know anyway, because he already knew. But I just let it all out. I let it all out. I let every single bit of it out. And I just freaking word vomited and just let it all out. And let me tell you something. I went to sleep that night. And I woke up the next morning a completely different person. It's like God finally says, thank you for admitting all this stuff. Thank you, daughter, for coming home and admitting all this stuff and remembering you are not nothing and you can't do anything without me. Because you can't do this without me. And it finally broke and admitted all this stuff to me. And you laid it at my feet. And guess what? I'm going to come help you. And he did. And from that moment on, like literally that next morning, I was completely different. I was completely changed, because I finally submitted. That's the word. That's the ultimate word, is submission. I finally submitted for like, I ain't shit. I can't do shit. I can't do nothing without you. And I laid it at him, and I said, I cannot do this anymore. Take this from me. And I did. And ever since that day, I've been completely different, and I've been a different person, and I've changed substantially. And every day it's just a different one more stepping stone to being a better person. And of course, that didn't fix everything at that moment, but every day it just gets better and better and better and better. And you try to do what's right. And sometimes you have to literally break to that point before you can ever see up, before you can ever change, before you can ever take part of your life and become a different person, a new person in Christ, because you have to fall so far before things change. And that just happens.